we will start now and design the template or the website. So the first thing what we're going to do is we have here a very blank website here, basically browser blank with a standard amount of HTML code here. You can see here we have these items here, all the HTML, we have a default setting for CSS, and we have a fixed color. This is a preset color that we're using. This is orange, and the reason why I'm using the orange color, you can see it is the orange color. The reason why I'm using the orange color is because we are going to work with cocoa milk tea drinks. This is a company that sells many different milk teas, which is a very trending topic, and they are globally now with over 4,000 stores. However, we're not promoting them, but that's the brand that we're going to focus on for today. And what we're going to do here is basically to create the same chart. We're going to create a chart, and then we want to display the drinks with and those should be with the line chart matching. So if we select one specific drink, it shows what is the sales for that. If we select another one, we'll do exactly the same. So let's start and explore this right now, or at least let's start doing what we need to do. So the first thing that we're going to do here is in the body, we're going to put in here, we're going to create two divs. We have one div, which will be here, basically will show the chart, and below that we will show the item itself, or at least a thumbnail of that image. All the images, I saved them on there. They're in Google Drive. You can find a link in the description box where you can get those images. Let's start with it immediately. So I'm going to create here a section first, and this section will cover our item here. So what will be this? This will be the div. Then we say here the class, and this will be chart box, because this is the section related to the chart box. So once we have this here, this is fine. We have here one item, alright. So once we have this, now I'm going to put some enters here below, or maybe you can just do it like this, so fair enough. So we have that, and here we have another section, and this section will cover the thumbnails basically. So we call this the drink box. That would probably be the right one, or maybe the thumbnail box, doesn't matter so much. So what will be here, we will put in here the icons below, that when we click on it we will see the nice chart. And of course what we want to do as well on the side here, we want to put in another item, which is the image of that drink. So we're going to do that as well. So we say here another div, the class, this will be image box, will cover just the specific image. Alright, to do this we need to make sure that the width of this is fixed to a certain amount, or should be a maximum width of, let's say, 400 pixels for the chart, and after that the remaining would be suitable for our drink box or image box. So let's do this immediately. So I'm using here pure CSS or pure vanilla CSS, just CSS itself. The reason why is I'm trying to improve my CSS code, but also I think it's very important for you to know how to use CSS, because CSS has expanded dramatically, and when I use Bootstrap I start to realize quickly that it was absolutely a pity I don't see all these new options here. So let's start and work on that now. Alright, so what we're going to do here is the following. We have here the chart box, so we say chart box. And in this chart box we say here the width, say 400 pixels, or max width. So it's flexible, 400 pixels. And the reason why we're doing this is to make sure that the chart box, where the canvas tag will come from the chart.js, is fixed, so it will not have, or it will not expand infinity. So because you need to put it in a item and then indicate a height or width, or else it will expand into infinity, which is not really beneficial, and it will start to load your site or slow down your computer tremendously. Alright, the next one is, we have that, we have the image box, and we can just put in the image box here, and we just give it exactly the same as well. We say max width 400 pixels as well. There you are. So now what we can do here is the following. Let's put in first the ChartJS in here. So we're going to ChartJS. I have the website already open here, and I'm going to just use the basic ChartJS in here. So click on this, click on Get Started, and once you click on Get Started, you can see here already a piece of code. I like to use this code for many of my videos because it's a very straightforward code to use. Alright, to do this, I'm going to put it here down. And the reason why I'm going to put it down here is because there's some JavaScript in here that we need to paste. So I'm pasting first the JavaScript in here while I have the canvas tag here out. So I'll just do some proper indentations. Alright, that looks fine. And then what I will do is I will just cut away this, move this up into the chart box div. There you are. Remove the width here because we have that already removed, or we already assigned our own width in the chart box. Once we have that, what I want to adjust here is we can just say this is a line chart. I like to use line chart most of the time for my examples. And I will be using also some other charts in the near future. So I'm going to remove all of these because I want only one line with one single color. So once we have this here, we have all of these. That's fine. So now we're almost done. What we need to do here is to add up here the JavaScript library. So we go back here, go to getting started, and you can see here this is the JavaScript library that we need to use for chart.js. Paste it in here. There we are. So now we're done here. Let's save this. And once we save this and go back here and refresh it, you can see now we have a chart showing up here. What I want to do is I want to use the color. So I have this color here preset. I already showed you. This is the orange color, which is from the brand itself. So I'm going to copy that and just put it all in here. Save this here or paste it in here. Make sure you have the hashtag connected. So we're going to put it in here. And also for the border color here. Alright, so once we do this, we save this. Refresh, and now it starts to become orange. What I do want to do here is I want to move the padding as well. You can expand the padding here a bit more so we have some space around it. So let's do that one here as well. This is chart box, and then we say here padding. And then we say here, let's say 10 pixels. That would be more than enough. There you are, that looks slightly better. Max with 400, or let's say we can do this 600. I find 400 slightly too small. There we are. So that looks slightly better. So we have this now. Can we make it nicer? Of course we can. We can put in some padding, margin, maybe a border around it, but that's alright. For now, no need. The next part that we're going to do is we're going to work with the, well, we have the image box here. I will do this later on. But what I want to do here first is get the thumbnails here below, or they will be here basically, those thumbnails. So we're going to add those thumbnails in here. So what I will say is the following. We make here a unordered list, and this unordered list will have a list item, and this list item will eventually have an image. And what would be the source of the image? So I have multiple images here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in there, and I already indicated for you as well the images. I have a file called, or folder, sorry. I have a folder where I store the images, and this folder has been named image or img. So I'm putting img slash and then the image name of the thumbnail. So that's the thumb1.png. So make sure you download the files. I have all these files and images stored in Google Drive. See it in the description box for all the files. You can get them immediately. So I'm going to say, store this 4 times, so copy this 4 times, put it in here, and once we save this, we refresh. Alright, we have now 4 images here. Alright, that looks very beautiful, but of course we want to put them here aligned. So let's start and use some CSS to align these items. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say here class drink box. What we do here is for the class drink box we can do as well same. We can do a padding and a max width, and then next what we're going to do is dot class drink box, and then we will pinpoint the specific item, which will be the unordered list. So once we have this here, what we want to do here is we just want to put it in a display. We say flex. This will put them in a centered mode, or not yet. Display flex, and then we have here what is that? The style. I'll have to check later on what that exactly is. However, that doesn't matter. What we want to do here is as well, we want to remove As you can see here, we have the images here, but there is, of course, these are now items, and I'm not sure if you're seeing it, but there's a dot here at the back, of course, because these are the bullet dots of the unordered list. So what I want to do is I want to remove that. So I will say here on the dot drink box, unordered list, list item, and then here, list style none, displaying none here. So once we have that, alright, that works, but you don't see it, of course, here right now. Let's see here. What happened, marker? Do we see anything? No, nothing at all. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get the item here that I'm looking for. I just can't catch it. I'm just losing it suddenly. Alright, so I just did a quick search on the right term. So this is, we have to do some adjustments here. And that is on this one, UL, the unordered list. You see justified content. And then we have space between or space around. We can do any of these. Let's do space between. And then we can say here align items. And then we say center to push them all in the center. Alright, so once we refresh, it doesn't work yet. I realize that we need to remove this. This is not what we need, so fair enough. Remove this, alright. Space between is maybe not the best one. We have space around, so let's try that. Slightly, space between is fine if we can just adjust the size of the drink box here. Let's see here, the drink box has a size. So we can just maybe remove this one for now. That would be probably more appropriate for now. And later on we will just figure out what is it. It's not space between, maybe we can do a position left or right, one or the other. However, as you can see, I'm still learning as well the CSS, but we're getting there. So once we have this, what we want to do the next one is eventually push this here, or at least make this slightly more interactive. That when we click on this, then the colors or the item should change. So we're going to change that as well. We're going to do that as well. So what we're going to do here is the following. We have this, and then we can copy this as well on L, and then we say here hover effect. So what we need to do here, first of all, we're going to give a hover, and this hover must be a transition. So we say here transition, transitioning, and this will be a 0.5 seconds. Alright, then what is our transition here? So, well, that's the following here. Let me say here, we can say here, transform, and then we say transform translate Y. Alright, and the reason why translate Y is because this will control up or down movements, while translate X would be a horizontal movement, left and right, and Y is vertical. So we say here, minus 15 pixels. That would mean that if we would be on here, or if we would hover on the list item, there will be a transitioning of 0.5 seconds, and the item or the image will gradually go up for only up minus 15 pixels, so it's 15 pixels going up. Alright, save that, refresh, and let's try here. There you are. As you can see, this looks quite nice. You can make a longer or shorter things, or higher or lower, but this is more than enough what we need. Alright, so we have this now. What we want to do now is we want to work now on the image box here. So we have this image box here. What we will do in the image box, we just put in the image. And the image source will be, of course, the same thing. So, as I said before, download files, check them in our, check in the description box. So image, and then we say here, this will be image, let's see what is the official item, drink 1 if I'm not mistaken. So let's save that, refresh. Alright, that doesn't work. I'm going to check what's the item name. Alright, so after checking, I figured out it's very straightforward, IMG1. Alright, refresh here, there you are. So we have this image here, but we want to make sure this image will move here, and it's not that big as what we have now. But what we want to do is that when we click on it, it should of course be adjusted. So let's start and explore how we can do this. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to check with our image box. What's our image box here right now? Padding. Oh, sorry, we have the image box and the chart box. So what we can say here is basically this. Display Then we can say here, this could be flex as well. Same as the image box. We do this. Oh, doesn't work yet. We can change it to inline block. Maybe that's probably better. So it's an inline block, and in the inline block, eventually the section itself could be a flex. So we say section, and this flex section will be display flex. Alright, so as you can see now, it starts to work slightly better. However, this image is way too big. It's interfering even with this. So what we need to do here is the following. What we're going to do here is reduce the image of this big box here. So it's a display inline image box. We say here max height. It's probably better. Will be, oh, let's try 400 pixels. Alright, that is still quite big. Let's double check here. What's the exact size, to be honest, because I am not satisfied yet. Alright, the max height is 750. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just control the image box. Dot image box, and then we say what is the item we want to adjust image. Alright. And in here, we will say max height. In this case, I would say 350. So then we have some padding and margin as well. That should be more than enough. Alright, so this is quite decent, although I'm not so satisfied with our chart. What happened to the chart? Let's check here. Can we increase this chart size? As of now, because it's probably a flex, it starts to create something weird, or it's being restricted on his width. For now, that's alright. Later on, or next time, I'll figure that one out. Let's figure out first how we can create the interactivity here, because that is eventually the most important part here. So what we're going to do here is the following. We go down here, and then we have this source here. So this is very important. I'm going to give this also a class. Then we say drink. Alright, so we have this, and what we want to do now is just to create, or is to create interactivity here based on that. When we click on this, the value here changes, and then also this should change as well. So let's start and explore how to do this. So the first thing what we're going to do here is to make sure that these clicks are working. So what we want to do here is we're going to impact here the name. So once we click on this, the name here should match, and then the drinks here, that should match. We will not work on color for today, or for now. The color is not necessary. We just leave the color as original what we have here. So basically we're going to work with the label and the data points. Alright, so we say here function, and this function we're going to create a new function is change chart, and in here we will have two items. This is label and data. So here what we can do here is the following. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, once we click on this item here, it should show the new data in there. Alright, so what we're going to do is how to do that is we say here my chart data sets, and this is index. This is an index or an array, so it's 0 is index 0, or element, the first element of this array. So this is a array data sets, and then data and data sets label. So let's do label first, which is the easiest one. Say my chart, and then we say dot data sets, and remember this was 0. Yes, so let's go back here. My chart data sets label. Dot label equals label. Once we did that, we can do exactly the same with the data. And what we do with data is basically here. So we go from my chart data sets for the first element. Remember, just index 0 and then data here. So we say here data. So that's why we have this. All right. Now to get this working, we need to make sure that here, the moment we click on this, we can do it on the list item. I want to click on the list item, not on the image, but just on the list item itself. So that if ever there would be some padding around it, that if we click on it, it still triggers it. So I say here, on click, and this on click does the following. We can say here, if I on click, and I say change chart, that's the function name, and then we say here label, which is a string, so we can here label. So let's look at this. What is this exactly? Well, you can see here, this is the basic milk tea. So we say cocoa milk tea, comma, and then we put in here the data. So what is the data? Oh, no quotations needed for data. So remember that. I have removed them. Copy this data here and put in here. Alright. So once we did that, we can do exactly the same with the others. So we just copy all of this code, on click, go back here, I will just paste this 4 times. And then we can just check what is the items here. So we have another one, this is probably a chocolate, and this is a purple pearl, this is a ube or sweet potato. So let's do that one. So we have here the chocolate milk tea, and then I'll just give some numbers here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we say this one 2, and then this one 8. That's alright. So we have up and down movement. Next one here, this was the purple ube sweet potato milk tea, potato. Alright, and finally we have here, this is probably egg pudding milk tea. Egg pudding milk tea, or even I'm saying QQ, I'm not sure. I'm just making them up as well. So these are the things. Just make sure we put some data here and just put in 5, 5, 3, and then this is 5, and then we say here 8, and then this is again 2, and then here we have another one is 0, 9, then we say 10, and then we say 11, 12, and 13. So this one is an increasing one. Alright, so once we have all of this here, what we want to do is we want to update the chart as well here. So we say update chart. Oh, sorry, not like that. We do my chart. That's a command, and update. Once we do that and save this, you will see now if you click on this, it starts to show up and matches it. We should figure out eventually how to increase this. But what I want to do next is when we click on this, we should see this icon here change as well. Or this image, sorry, change as well. So how do we do this? Well, what we can do is another function. And say here, function change image. Change img. Let's say here, img value. Alright. Then here, basically, we can do exactly the same here. You can see here, where is the image? So the image is a class with a class name of drink. So that's nice to know. And then we can do here, we can create a constant. String equals document dot, and then because we have to select that item, so we say query selector, and then we say here single quotations, that is a string, and then we say here dot to indicate it's a class, and then put in the class name, which is drink. Alright, so once we have that, and then we can say here drink dot source equals image, of course. So once we have that, you will understand that we go get the source of image. So we can now say on click, or what we do now is basically on the same item, in this thumbnail item, we have another function. We're going to add another function on click. Basically, there are 2 functions being triggered immediately. And then we say here change image. What is the image name? There will be quotations because it's a item or is a string. Remember, we need to do image as in the folder or wherever your folder is. I'm using the image folder, so if you use another folder, put in that folder name image and then image1.png. I'm going to do exactly the same here for all others, and make sure you have this semicolon here, because this will indicate that there's another function in here. So we say here semicolon, and then the entire code here, we do exactly the same, here, there you are, and one more time here, there you are. So we have this. Make sure this is number 4, number 3, and number 2. Save this, refresh, and then when we click, as you can see, now we create a more nicer type of chart. And you can imagine, you can maybe even remove this legend part here, because this becomes a visual legend. So this is quite nice, and what I want to do is just to quickly explore how we can expand this one so it will be beautifully and matching, more suitable together. Alright, so what I will do is basically we'll just simplify it with a minimum width here of, instead we'll just do this on 500 to make sure that this is maximum. And then eventually you would say, well, this would be conflicting if you have a mobile version. If that's correct, then we probably have a mobile version view where we play around with that. And maybe we can do, or we could do even here 100%. Maybe 100%. Oh, that would be a slight conflict with our other item here. As you can see, this is moving away from it, so that's probably not the way to do it. So we're going to just do it like that. There you are. So however, as you can see now, this is quite nice, because here we have basically a far more interactive item. We can go more deeper with it as well, and I already have some videos coming very soon where we cover a lot more, but you probably can see step by step how we can make the design so interactive. And that's quite exciting. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in ChartJS, check out in the description box the link directing to my ChartJS course, where you can learn everything about ChartJS. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.